Hey guys, Nathan Brendan Masters. Today I'm going to draw a character who doesn't get a lot of shine, somebody who's not Victor Locke or Zombie Girl, Ashen, Night Evil, any of those characters. This is a character named Mona. If you have Hexcraft Mechanics or Ultimate Control, Mona is Nodis Talbane's personal assistant. She replaced Jill Morgan when Jill left because, the organization weirded her out with it being, an occult organization. The difference between Mona and Jill is that Mona is a friend of the Talbanes and she knows about their occult practices and their indoctrinations and all the weird stuff that goes on with them, where Jill was an outsider who wasn't supposed to know about those things. Jill is also a whistleblower, but the thing about it is, at this point, the only people who would listen to her are conspiracy theorists and people like that, because technically no laws have been broken. It's developmental technology and stuff like that that she knows about, the practices and things that she's seen. No one's going to believe her. And if they do believe her, again, she's seen nothing that's been, that's considered illegal. Now, Mona was hired directly out of college, and at the time, she was kind of dabbling in witchcraft and things like that. So, she had never actually seen the kind of stuff that the Rise of Magic do. She had never seen anything like that on that level, but she was a friend of the Talbane family. Her father worked with Nodis, and her dad's not into any of that stuff. It's just that two billionaires, so they work together and find what. Actually, her dad's a millionaire. Nodis, of course, is a billionaire. Her dad's a millionaire, but they work together in making money. So he knew her through her dad, and he found out that she was into that kind of stuff, and so he's like, hey, why don't you come work for me? She wouldn't be weirded out by the kind of stuff that they do, even though she is kind of, some of the stuff does overwhelm or sometimes even frighten her. She does know how to keep her mouth shut about it. She's not going to run around telling anybody that, hey, we're doing this creepy magic stuff over here. So that keeps her and the people around her out of trouble. She's not an official member of the Rise of Magic, but she has been sworn to secrecy, and Nodis kind of treats her like a daughter. She's kind of like the daughter he doesn't have, because Lauren, his actual daughter, doesn't believe in magic, and she doesn't want to have anything to do with magic, even though she herself is a magic adept and has actually released demons and entities into her parents' house when she was younger, just kind of playing around because she didn't know her power. But that's a story in itself. When I first drew this, I was drawing this on a Canson Art Book 1, the spiral bound version of it. And me being left-handed, I hate spiral bound notebooks because the spiral always gets in the way unless it's one of those flip up spiral bound things. I just don't particularly like spiral bound notebooks. I will buy, I don't mind the kind that you can take the paper out of. It's got the perforated pages. I'll get those, and I can draw on those and then take those pages out. The thing about it is, when I do draw on those, I get the big ones because I have a lot of space to move around. So I'll get the 7x10 or the 8.5x11 or something like that. I won't get the small ones because my hand always hits the spiral. And in this drawing, that was one of the things that happened when I was trying to ink her arm. And I messed up on the arm. If you can see right here, the arm on the left side of the page, the arm stands out. And that arm stands out because the ink line is thicker, and that's why the ink line is thicker, because I messed, the way I was inking, my hand was resting on the spiral, and for some reason I just couldn't get it the way I wanted to get it. But I do something with that. Well, I mean, you've seen the photo I used for the thumbnail. I put a fishnet on that arm. So that's it. So it makes her kind of look kind of cool, kind of classy. She's got this kind of sense of style. Now, those markers I'm using Those are tombile markers. Those are the watercolor markers. You can blend with them and things like that, just like you can with alcohol markers and stuff. And plus, if you put water on them, you can use them like watercolor. You can literally use them like watercolor. Or one of the things you can do is like you can make a dark area, like a dark area with them, and then kind of take water and push the color off to the side so you can make kind of a gradient. But you gotta know what you're doing to make it look really nice. I've tried it before and it's not. I'd rather just go in with the watercolor and use that instead. That's my preference. Nothing against these markers. I do want to get back into alcohol markers though. That was interesting, but I wasn't really using them, so I just I'm like, I had the Blick Studio markers and I sold them. I'm like, I don't need these. I'm not using these. And then I actually wanted to color something. I'm like, where's my brush markers? I do still have brush markers. I mean, I have alcohol markers, but I don't have the brush markers. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I sold those. I do think I still have a few Blick markers around here somewhere. They're in a Blick bag. They're in like a blue Blick bag, but I don't know. So I might end up buying like a bunch of Ohuhu markers. I might end up doing that. I just don't color like that. I put little bits of color like this in a sketchbook or something, but I really don't do a lot of color sketching. But Mona does have a decent role in the CurseRisen unification book. It's the same Hexcraft mechanic story, but it's going to be on the new timeline. It's going to have Victor Locke, Demon Hunter, Decoy, Zombie Girl, Rahab, Night Evil, Damius, Patrika. Everybody's going to be there. It's going to be an open-ended book and then lead into the other series and things like that. So that's where we're at right now with unification. Most of it's done. The new pages are done. They just need to be colored. The pages from the new Ultimate Control book are also going to be in there, so it's going to be a little bit spicy. It's not going to be adults only, but definitely a mature reader's book, so keep that in mind. I am considering whether I want it to be 2 books or 1 big book. I'm worried about the pricing and stuff like that, but other than that, guys, here's Mona. Be on the lookout for her. You guys take it easy. Nathan Brendan Masters. Asta.
Don't look back, we're here to stay. A life we knew would come one day. And this is it, the borderline to where the future leaves us behind. The fire will burn.